Hello, everyone. Welcome to Baseball Chat. Here we talk about the New York Yankees, along with all the other wonderful teams in this league. There's a lot to talk about this season, but first, we're going to jump into the first half. I'm going to give my friend Benji a call. Let's get going.
Hey, Joseph.
Benji, the first half has been unbelievable. So much to talk about today. We are two friends, Yankee fans from Jersey. I'm down in Florida now. Benji's still up in Jersey. And we decided that we just love chatting about baseball and we thought it would be great to share it with the world. Right, Benji?
Yeah, we were talking about the Yankees and every team maybe couple days ago, and we are like, hey, you know what? Share our love of the team. Let's make sure everyone else knows about the Yankees and about baseball in general.
I mean, it was really that simple. And here we are. So you can expect us to dive in to the best team, the Yankees. And well, maybe not the best team this
It's
year, which we'll get into, but
definitely getting into
as
that.
well as other teams around the league as well, right, Benji? We're really gonna get in there.
We're gonna get into the best teams in the league. We'll talk a little bit about the worst teams in the league, but we don't like talking about them anyway. But we will
Yeah, and
do our
we
best.
we're actually going to make a promise to everyone right now, right off the bat, right before we begin, and we can promise you that there will never be a Red Sox fan on this show, as well as an Astros fan. And depending upon what happens after this season, what do you think about the Rays, Benji? Maybe we should not have a Rays fan.
Never. I would say even like just now. Now what happens after the season? Just never have a Rays fan.
So let's jump into it. Let's talk about the first half. Talk about highlights from the Yankees and the rest of the league. Benji, highlights for the
Well,
Yankees.
I would say the biggest highlight is come on. If you haven't watched it, fine. Domingo Germán's perfect game against the Oakland A's on June 28th. It was I was able to get the last three outs of it. I had never.
So you were
I would
able to get the last three outs.
I was able to get a stream to watch the last three outs
Okay,
of the.
so I have MLB TV and I'm watching on my phone in bed and I'm exhausted, but I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna watch this. Like I tuned in just in time and I passed out literally like when he was one out away. And I woke up in the morning
Oh,
and my phone was like, I don't even know where my phone was. And I'm like, oh my God, did he do it? Did he do it? And I was telling myself, like, don't fall asleep. This is big. Like I wanted to watch it live. I didn't want to just watch the highlights because it's one thing, watching the highlights the next day. It's like, oh, that was cool. But when you watch it live, you're like, yeah, you feel a part of it.
like I remember I got the stream. I was lying in bed also, and I'm like, wait, you know what? My mom's still up. I want to show her this because a great moment in baseball history. Only the 24th time in baseball history that this has happened. So I quickly like go upstairs. I
It's
tell
such
her,
a
hey,
huge deal. Even if your mom doesn't give a crap, you're gonna go upstairs and you're gonna go get her because this is amazing.
exactly.
And I do that with friends and family. I'm like, yeah, I know you hate baseball, but you got to check in and you got to watch this, and I'll talk about it, like that's how passionate I'm about it. And honestly, like, even if you're not passionate about it, like maybe you'll appreciate, something that's only been done now 24 times, right?
Now it was the 24th. Obviously, there are people who still believe Armando Galarraga's was the 20 either his would have been the either the 23rd or 24th, and there was a blown call. Everyone knows it. The ump knows it, but unfortunately, they
So
can't
why don't you
overturn it.
dive in and tell everyone a little bit more in detail, what that controversy is all about?
Okay, so basically, two outs in the ninth. Armando Galarraga is throwing a perfect game against, at the time, the Cleveland Indians. This was, I believe, 2012. He gets a ground ball to first baseman Miguel Cabrera. Who flips it over to Galarraga covering first, and the ump Jim Joyce he called him safe. Everyone in that stadium went nuts. Like, how are you gonna call him safe? in that play. But what I really liked about what happened afterwards, about an hour afterwards, Jim Joyce sees the replay, and he's legit crying on TV and he was annoyed for the kid, for Armando Galarraga. He was annoyed, and he made a mistake. Unfortunately, it did
Yeah,
cost
people make
Galarraga.
mistakes, but obviously when you play it back, if it was that obvious in the replay, then that kind of sucks.
It was awful. Jim Joyce, he was crying the next, and actually, I'm not sure when, but they wrote a book about it. Jim Joyce and Armando Galarraga, they wrote a book about the perfect game, the blown call, and
They wrote a
he,
book together.
yeah, they wrote a book together. I'm not sure what
I
it's
mean,
called.
Benji, that tells me everything I need to know right there. Okay, so it's not very controversial. Um, it's we'll add it to the record. You know what I mean? In at least in my book, the fact that you're writing a book about it together.
Like, and they've tried. The book is called Nobody's Perfect: Two Men, One Call, and a Game for Baseball History.
And you can
Um,
get it on Amazon. You can get it. No, we're just kidding. We don't know where you can get it.
well, you probably could get it on Amazon. It wasn't 2012, it was 2010 because it was published in 2011. So, it happened 2010. But
So
that
Domingo Herman,
Domingo
you know,
Herman's perfect game.
threw a perfect game. That's for
And
sure. And there wasn't really, I mean, I don't remember obviously because I passed out. I didn't really see any like controversial plays in that one. I think it was pretty straightforward. And he did it in very few pitches, right?
he threw a Greg Maddux in that. And what's called a Greg Maddux is finishing a complete game in under 100 pitches.
Like this was a very legit perfect game. I
This was
mean, it was perfect.
It was a perfect game, and I'll go onto Instagram and I'll see some people trying to diminish it because it was against the Oakland Athletics, one of the worst teams in baseball history right now. So, but people will diminish it, and I'm like, really? That was the 24th time that that's happened, and
Yeah, I
the
mean,
Oakland A.
people forget, as bad as a team may be, like you can't be in the majors if you suck. Well,
You,
actually,
we
Benji.
have Aaron Hicks. We had Aaron
Right.
Hicks.
Well, not anymore. You know what? I'd like to say, like we talked about, Herman's perfect game as a highlight of the Yankees in the first half, and a highlight for me personally was the departure of Aaron Hicks. And
I
departure is a very friendly way of saying it.
Like the Cashman basically just said, "Get off this team, go. I don't care where you go, just leave."
Well, he didn't say it right away. I mean, it dragged on for like 2 years.
I've been kind of wanting to get rid of Hicks since maybe 2019, 2019, 2020. Like 2018, he was solid. I'll say that for him. But since
You know
then,
what's
it's
sad?
downhill. Hmm?
When Benji, when you're a switch hitter and you can't hit from either side.
I know, I know. Like,
You know what's
how
funny
does
though? Now he's on the Orioles, who are ahead of the Yankees.
Mhm.
So, if anything, maybe his screw ups might help
This-
the Yankees advance past them. It's possible.
I would hope, but because Baltimore, they've never done anything against the Yankees. They're not like Tampa, who's been a thorn in our sides for the past few years. They're not like
That's true.
Boston. They're not like Boston, who's always been there.
Well,
They're not
Boston's
Seattle.
either in or they're out. They choose what season they want to, I don't know, be a contender for. But the Orioles just, yeah, you're right. They're never really there, but here they are now, and they're knocking at the Rays' door now for first
Yeah,
place.
and I figured, Adley Rutschman. I had heard about him a couple years ago. I figured he was going to be a great catcher for the Orioles, great pickup. Look at it, All Star. Is starting for the All Star also. To me, and they have Anthony Santander. They're a great young team. I have no ill will against Baltimore. They haven't done anything against the Yankees. If anything, we knocked them out of the playoffs a bunch of years.
Yeah, it was pretty easy. And then I
Yeah,
guess you know, obviously, always a highlight to watch is Aaron Judge.
He was
So,
he
you
was the
know,
Yankee.
the captain signed that massive deal in the offseason.
He
You
bet
know the
himself
numbers on that? What was it, like 360?
9 years, 360 mil. This was after he turned down a 7 year, $213.5 million contract
And
because he's
he
like, you
bet
know
on
what?
himself. Like
I'm
he
betting
knows
on
what
my
he's doing.
exactly. He knew he was going to be healthy that year because every year he's healthy and plays at least like 150 games. He's bad. He's hit over 50 home runs.
Yeah. But,
So
right now, unfortunately, he's injured. And I think we can thank the Dodgers. The ground screw, they placed that fence over there on purpose.
the Dodgers knew, hey, you know what? If we're gonna face the Yankees in the play in the World Series, we don't necessarily want to face Judge because he will beat us.
Yeah,
I will say,
exactly. So now, a $360 million liability, with a toe, not a
the thing
leg,
is,
not a foot, not an arm, but a toe.
I know, and I'm a little annoyed that it's taking him. It's gonna be about 2 months
And
till
listen, like people,
he's been
like I
out.
just said, like a toe, right? But actually, toes are a big deal. You need them, and it might seem like a very small part of him, but you don't want to take that chance. Of him, the toe turning into toes, and then a foot, and then a leg, and then, we
And he's
don't want other issues. We don't want like season-ending surgery. We don't need any of that. We need him back because it's not very
and
good right now for the Yankees.
lost the series against the Rockies. They are going to lose. They hopefully they can win the game tomorrow so they don't get swept by the Angels. But this road trip so far has not been great. They do have the Royals coming up. Kansas City has not been good this year either. I mean, the whole AL Central has not been good. Like Kansas City is, I think, fourth in the division. So they do have a chance. Judge, he was actually seen shagging fly balls in Los Angeles today. So we have some
There we
good.
go. Well. Hopefully, he doesn't spend too much time in LA because that's where the toe happened. But he's in Anaheim, so
Yeah,
a different area than Dodger Stadium. So always a lot
if
of Yankee fans come out there. Honestly, like I've been there a couple times, and I think there's probably more Yankee fans that show up to the game. Like I'm not even kidding. Like the cheers, like "Let's go Yankees," is like really
you
loud. Like I didn't hear any Angel fans at all every time I've been there. It's very impressive.
this is the thing, the Yankees, their brand name, even if you don't even if you don't watch baseball, just their brand, everyone knows them. Everyone knows the Yankees. You can go if it's Tampa, if they're playing in Tampa and the Yankees are there, boom, all the
Been
Yankee
to
fans.
Tampa earlier this year. I mean, yep, a lot of Yankee fans there.
It's like
There's a lot of.
90%.
I think there are more Yankee fans throughout America, that show up to all these different ballparks than any other sports team for sure.
Oh, definitely. There's no one even close, remotely like close to it. And the only other stadium I would say is Miami when they play the Mets. You got a lot of old New Yorkers that that are in Miami. They support the Mets.
Very,
That
very confused New Yorkers because they're clearly rooting for the wrong team.
oh definitely look, and that's the thing. The Yankees live rent free in New York Mets fans' heads.
Another highlight on the Yankee side, because we were talking about the
Oh,
first half here and what happens, you know, after the first half ends is the All-Star game. And Garrett Cole, first All-Star start of his career.
he had been 5 times before. This was his 6th year. He's in the midst of his best uh, year as a Yankee and could potentially win his first Cy Young. Um, and you
Which
know
would be
what?
nice. And it'd be, congratulations to him. But at the end of the day, if he's not propelling the Yankees to a championship, I don't care.
He can't do it himself. That whole starting pitching has to be better. Um,
Listen, he's
and
a solid pitcher. I think the Yankees definitely gave him way too much money. We need more than just a Cole. But congratulations to him on that
Congratulations.
achievement. And then I know there's a lot of other achievements that, he passed. He did add different milestones throughout the season already. I don't remember what they are. I think you know.
Well, this
But
past,
yeah,
I'll say one of them. I remember this past Sunday, he became the Yankees leader in 10 plus strikeout games with 24.
big deal.
So yeah, he's been dealing this season. I think another highlight would be Anthony Volpe. I think bringing him up,
Volpe.
dude, like bringing Volpe up, I think was a great catalyst for the Yankees. They wanted to try out their rookies, which they haven't done in a long time, since
Probably
2017,
since
basically.
since like Judge and some of
Since
the others that are not even on the team anymore. But honestly, like of those rookies that came up, Judge is now the captain, so that's good. But to your point of Volpe, I mean, he's an exciting player to watch.
I think he leads the team in stolen bases. I'm not. I no. He definitely leads the team in stolen bases. Let me see how many he's got this
Yeah, he's
year.
leading the team with one stolen base
uh,
because nobody runs anymore.
they don't like to. They really don't like to run, and it's ridiculous because they're like, hey, you know what? You can maybe get caught, or you can put yourself in scoring position. And he's got 16 stolen bases out of 18 tries. He's been great.
It's what you like to see from a youngster. Bases are actually now, maybe why he's still 16 because the bases are, just a little bit bigger, you know.
Yep. They added 3 inches to the bases this year, and they're stealing more bases than they have before. But
Yeah, and that's not the only change that they came up with, you know. They came up with some really, really wonderful ones, like
it's
the Ghost Runner.
the
Yeah,
ghost
the
runner.
Ghost Runner. Yeah,
The,
not a fan personally, not a fan, but I guess that carried over from last year's. But a new one that they have, I'd say definitely is that pitch clock.
so honestly, I'm okay with the pitch clock. I thought, hey, you know what? The hitters give these professional baseball players like time to test it out. And the only game I can really recall it ending by via the pitch clock was a spring training game between the Red Sox and the Braves. That's it. Since then, there's maybe been a couple guys who get a called strike on them because of it. There's a couple pitchers that have thrown a walk because of the pitch clock. But other than that, I was against it at the very beginning. At the very beginning, I'm like, no, just it's baseball. You're not supposed to have a clock. It's not supposed to be there. Just let them play.
I mean, there's definitely, you see this all the time. The players are trying to get into the pitchers' heads, and the pitchers are trying to get in the batters' heads. Stepping out, walking slow, calling time, and that stuff is. I think it's exciting, and I think there's like a psychology to it, and it really does affect the gameplay, especially if a pitcher's like mowing people down. Like I know Garrett Cole hates when a batter comes up there and they're like, "Timeout, timeout." Hold on a second. Is my left shoe untied or is it my right one? They really
Yeah,
take
yeah.
they take their time there. So he hates that.
And
Obviously, like, you know, it's really great in the playoffs and the World Series. Like, I think that kind of stuff, is necessary. Obviously, during the regular season, it could drag out even more, but there's definitely, a strategy to it.
and and while we're going over rules, there's just another one that I just remembered. They don't allow pitchers to throw over to first base as many times as possible now. The rule is
That's right.
they can throw it over twice, and then they can throw it over a third time. But if they don't get the runner, it's a balk and he gets second base.
Right. I mean, there's a lot for the players to remember, for this season. And you make a mistake, all of a sudden, you know, you didn't even throw a pitch, and the guy who you were just facing like 5 seconds ago is on first base.
I'm not gonna say I'm a fan of the pitch clock just yet. I am okay with it right now. I I still believe that yes, it's baseball. You want to keep some of the purity of the game. You want to make sure that there is some psychology to it. Hey, you know what? I'm gonna fake a bunt, take it back. You can't or like fake swing and take that back. Call a million timeouts. You can't do that anymore. They get one timeout. That's it.
You got one. That's it. You got one shot.
One shot, one opportunity. We won't get into that. But I mean,
Yeah.
one of my favorites was Derek Jeter. Whenever he would call timeout, just like put up that left hand, step out of the box for a little bit, and just get back into it. But he didn't go around the base. He didn't go around home plate, but walk around
Yeah,
all
he
the
didn't
time.
really milk it. He never, some of these players are doing like they walk over to, the on deck circle where the other guy is, and they say like, "Oh, can I get some of that stuff to rub on my bat?" Actually, you know what? I'm good. Wait, is my bat broken? I don't know. They flip their bat, one handed. You know who does a really cool one?
Who
You know
who's
what I'm talking about?
I think nowadays
Basically,
or
the
this
replacement. He's the replacement for Aaron Hicks. We got him in the trade with St. Louis. We
Monty
gave them
Harrison
Jordan
Bader.
Montgomery,
Yeah, Harrison
Harrison
Bader.
Bader. Every time he gets up there, he smacks that bat on the plate, flips it up, back into his hand. It's pretty cool. I mean,
I
it would
like
be
it.
really embarrassing if he dropped it, but he never does.
He's he's a real good player. I wasn't thrilled with the trade when I heard about it because I felt like Jordan Montgomery, effectively affectionately known as Monty, I felt like he was coming into his own as a pitcher for the Yankees, and I knew we needed some outfield help, but also at the same time you got this kid in the minors who's been laboring in the minors for past I don't know 6 7 years now. His name's Estevan Florial, and he's just been stuck down there for years.
Yeah, and just think, he could have been playing all those times when Aaron Hicks was, I wouldn't say playing because he doesn't really do anything, but whatever. He could have taken his place, maybe done
I,
something good.
I wish he did. They bring him up like every time I've seen him up, they bring him up for maybe a week, and then after a week they decide, hey, you know what? No, go back down. That's it. And he doesn't have a big enough.
Sad, sad, sad.
They don't. He doesn't have a big enough sample size in the majors,
And
and
don't worry, Benji. It's not like they're going to trade him, or give him an opportunity somewhere else. Not even just give him an opportunity. Give themselves an opportunity to get some better players. You know.
no, they'll trade him for. I'm not sure what's going on with Nelson Cruz, but
Oh,
Cashman.
yeah. So one of the things we're going to talk about on this
Next question.
show over
Yeah.
time is we're probably going to spend one of the shows just talking about the front office,
Oh.
everything in there. And yeah, Cashman is one of them. So we're I was gonna make a joke. It's we're coming for you, Cashman.
Like Cashman, he is living off of 3 World Series wins back to back to back that he wasn't even a part of. He was not a part of it, and he didn't draft Jeter, Williams. Uh, he didn't get Posada, Pettit, Mo. He didn't draft those guys. He didn't trade for Paul O'Neill or Tino Martinez or Scott Brocious. The only thing he did in the late '90s, early 2000s was get Roger Clemens and David Justice. Like that's it.
Should I do like a slow clap for that?
Yes, the slowest clap
Yeah.
possible.
Anyways, we
But
um we have to talk about enemy number one as we wrap things up today. Who's
yep,
enemy number one, Benji? Tell everyone.
it's the past since 2015. I guess I gotta go with Houston. It's been the Astros since then. We have never been able to get past them in the
You mean the
playoffs.
cheaters?
Yep, the cheaters. No,
Yeah,
I
definitely.
I don't count the 2017 ring. I count 2022 because unless we hear, hey, you know what, they were cheating last year also, I count that ring. But 2017,
Innocent till proven guilty.
exactly. But
Except
20,
they were at least
oh no,
once.
2017, yeah, they were guilty. Everyone knew it, and I
And if
also
the
am.
Dodgers, honestly, like, we all wanted to see that Yankees Dodgers World Series, but I don't know why the Dodgers are taking out their anger on the Yankees with Aaron Judge's toe. That's not nice.
That's
Why
not
don't they
nice.
do that to one of the Astros?
They should do that to Altuve. He's one of the last guys left from
Don't
that
don't even
team.
get me started. Don't even get me started with
Dude,
Altuve.
he's the one of the last guys left from that 2017 team. It's
Yeah,
him.
and he will not take off that jersey. No way.
I mean, I will say this: as much as I hate Altuve, I commend him for staying with the Astros through horrible years. I will say that. That's it.
Well, you are a wonderful person. That's all I'm gonna say. I will
No,
also say, like, probably enemy number two. Well, first of all, when we said enemy number one, there's always one enemy, and it's the Red Sox. But, you know,
eh,
who do we need revenge against? It's the
Tampa.
Astros. And
I,
Tampa this year, like, we're coming for you. We may be 9, 10, 11, 12, 14 games back. Now we're only 9, I think. The most it's ever been
uh,
was 9.
I
But
think
yeah,
with I think with tonight's loss, and I think Tampa won. I think they are now 10 games back. No, unless it didn't update, it is still 9
well, everyone, that's all the time we have for today on Baseball Chat. Thanks so much for joining us.
for the rest of the season.